There you go. Today's topic, side bends to the right and to the left during the swing, especially at setup. How much side bend do I need to hit good drives? How much side bend do I need to hit good mid irons? What's going on in chipping? Should these things change? Then also, secondly, side bends at the end of the backswing. How much side bend should I have to my left, obviously, as I'm going to the backswing? How much side bend should I maintain in the transition? When should it go into right side bend? How does it influence the club delivery? Do we start hitting draws if we go quicker into right side bend, maybe stay longer left side bend? Let's find out. It's very important to understand. And lastly, what kind of side bends should I establish at setup and maintain during the swing maybe, or try to get into if I have an uphill lie or a downhill lie? So once again, I'm not the kind of golf coach that says, like, do this for every shot. I want you to get more golf IQ. I want you to understand the relationships between all elements of the golf swing, and that's going to make you a better golfer because you can manipulate your own golf swing more efficiently. Forget about consistency. Yes, I said that. It's always better to have more golf IQ and then see what the pattern is and then make adjustments accordingly. Good golfers simply have more golf IQ. It's not that they're more consistent, they just have better understanding of what leads to what. All right, first things first, I'm going to start with a sand wedge, and we're going to start with a little chip shot. As a rule of thumb, throughout the bag, the longer the club gets, the more side bend I should have, and maybe driver right here, having about 20 degrees of side bend if you want to hit a launching high bomb off a high tee. So one thing that I want to start with is throughout the bag, what should happen. For a chip shot, I'd like to have much less side bend than any other shot in the bag. You might still have a little bit of side bend to the right, but not as much to play the music. I think the ranges right now are between 10 and 16 degrees of side bend, so you're going to hear the music a little bit, and you're going to see the avatar to go to green. If I go to 10 to 16 degrees of side bend, that's the average PGA Tour amount of side bend at setup for a mid-iron. For driver, you can get a little bit more, especially if you're roaring and want to hit off a high tee, you're going to get more into right side bend. But for a chip shot, let's try to be below 10 degrees of side bend at setup. All right, so right here, and I want to see you go into the side bend again. I see the setup all the time, trying to lift it up in the air. Rule number one in all of chipping at setup, do not side bend too much. If you want a steep attack angle, the side bend at setup needs to be more this way. If you're having a hard time keeping the right shoulder elevated, one easy trick is to stick the right hip here and move the right hip more to the side. All right, and that's a better setup for hitting chip shots this way. The club elevates easily, you can come down steeply and smash the bounce into the ground. You're going to get that nice thumpy sound, and the ball will pop up on its own. So once again, chip shots pop up because we hit down on the shot, because we squeeze the bounce into the ground, and we're not trying to brush the grass and have a lot of side bend trying to help it up in the air. All right, so once again, chip shots, right shoulder higher, and then as we're going into a longer swing, there you go, that would be my normal setup. 7-iron. If you want to chip with a 7-iron, same thing. I would not go into side bend. I would go keep the right shoulder pretty high and chip this way. Once again, a little reminder, you may have seen it in my other short game videos. It's much easier to keep the right shoulder higher if you have a more staggered stance close with the right shoe back. That makes it so much easier to chip with the right shoulder staying elevated. A lot of people still chip with an open stance. If you have an open stance, it's very easy to go into a right side bend. So once again, chipping principle, not just only the right shoulder is higher, but also we have to have a neutral to slightly staggered stance. Yes, short game instruction has changed, but once you do it, you understand why we're doing it. All right, so 7-iron. Again, these are the ranges of the PGA Tour players on average. All right, not too much side bend, about right here. In any shot in golf, how do the setup changes influence the shot shape? Well, it's obvious. If you have more and more side bend, it's much easier to swing more up on it. It's much easier to deliver more loft. So especially if the ball's sitting up nicely off a tee in the rough and you want to hit one over a high tree from the rough and it's sitting up nicely, by all means, more and more side bend. If you want to hit a punch shot, right, if you want to come down really, really steeply, just get the trail shoulder elevated, right? And you can see from here, I can get a lot of shaft lean, and it's so much easier to hit down on the ball, create a massive divot, and hit the ball penetrating low. Last thing with the driver. Once again, the K-Best is currently calibrated to PGA Tour ranges with a 7-iron. So now we want to get outside that range, get a little bit more side bend. My ball is up in my stance. There you go, that's my 7-iron. So with the driver, I'm going to not play the music, and I'm going to go even more side bend this way, right? But if I wanted to hit a low driver, maybe the wind is blowing a little bit to your face, you want to tee it up low. Once again, you can put the ball a little bit more middle of your stance, and even here, you can get rid of some side bend and hit the ball very, very penetrating by getting rid of some side bend at setup, right? So once again, setup, influence of the right shoulder. The shorter the club, the shorter the shot, the more right side bend we want to avoid. We want to get the right shoulder higher. The longer club gets, the more right side bend we want to add. Now let's go to the end of the backswing. How much left side bend do I need? And in transition also, how much left side bend should I maintain? And what if I change it back to right side bend? How does it influence the shots?
Calibration in 3, 2, 1.
We're now at side bend discussions at the end of the backswing. What most people don't understand is how the left shoulder needs to go to the left, how the torso needs to bend to the left to create a proper backswing. Most people just consider turning around the shot, and most people don't understand that if I want to have a proper backswing, I have to also not just turn, but I also have to bend left to make a proper golf swing. So how much left bend do you need? Well, at about 90 degrees of turn, I need as much left bend for a full golf swing as I have forward bend at setup. That makes the golf swing look like you're turning around the spine. So if I have about 35 degrees, 40 degrees of forward bend at setup, if I turn flat, that doesn't look very good. So now I have to add at 90 degrees of turn, which is probably about right here, I have to add that left bend to play the music. So we're turning and tilting. There you go. So we're going to activate our left ab. So it's super important to understand to make the backswing look simple and efficient. From the face-on view here, once again, I got about 35, 40 degrees of forward bend, and at about 90 degrees of turn, I have to have left bend. It's very rare to me that somebody has too much left bend, which I'll demonstrate now. Right, forward bend, we're not seeing the numbers right now, but let's do too much left bend. Right, so that's very rare for me to see. I would say most people, especially with the iron shots, they are over-rotated and under-tilted. So a good way to control your sand wedges and pitching wedges and shorter clubs is to turn less and tilt more. Turn less, tilt more. Once you understand that, it actually makes it very simple. So once again, to isolate the movement, we can also get to the end of the backswing differently. We can go just left bend first, playing the music. And now we're turning. All right, so one more time from this view here. Left bend. Too little left bend. Left shoulder too high, proper left bend. Left shoulder too high, left shoulder perfect. There you go. We already established the end of the backswing, we're going to have some left bend. Now let's discuss how it influences the club delivery if you stay long in your left bend or if you immediately turn into a right bend in the transition. So we're going to go to the end of the backswing, and if I stay very long on my left bend now, which I will demonstrate now, I have an easier time bringing the club forward and swinging on a fade bias path. I'm going to my setup, left bend at the top, and I'm staying long in my left bend. Right? You can see I'm staying long in my left bend. The club comes forward once I'm rotating. Now if I change from my left bend rapidly into my right side bend, you will see the numbers will decrease rapidly. I have an easier time coming to the inside. So how quickly I bend into my right, or how long I stay into my left, everything else staying equal, allows you to come more from the inside, being shallow or being steeper. Again, these are just influences. I'm not saying rapidly side bend to your right side. Junior golfers do that typically too quickly, throwing everything at it, especially their legs. Sometimes it's a good thing to stay long in your left bend, so I don't mind. If you're at the top of swing. So if you're at the top of swing and stay longer in your left bend, if you bring your arms down early enough, that's also a wonderful way to shallow. There's so many ways to do it, depending on what your golf swing needs or what you have access to. You're your own boss in your golf swing. I'm just giving you ideas and concepts that make you think, and whatever feels really good for you, pick that one. Whatever you can repeat. So I'll show that one more time. I'm going to stay long in my left bend. You're going to see the club comes more forward. I'm going to rapidly right side bend, and we're going to see influences. To the end of the swing. There you go. Proper left bend, staying in it, and now getting out of it quickly. Staying in it, getting out of it. So once again, if you want to hit a fade, might be a good thing to keep the left shoulder down longer and rotate. You're going to bring the club easily forward and swinging down the left. And if you swing into right side bend quickly, it might be easier to hit high, massive draws. All within reason, please. Right? So if you do one thing or the other thing too much, it might be detrimental and mess you up. So maybe as a final thought, it might be a good idea to stay longer in your left bend with your iron shots. And maybe it's a good thing to try to get quicker into a right side bend with the driver. So I'll demonstrate here one last time. Iron 7-iron to the end of the backswing. Here's my left bend. Staying longer in it makes you swing more left, hitting more down, steepens the attack angle. Now I'm going to bring the driver into play again here. And now with the driver, because I want to be more shallow and swing more up and right, hitting off a high tee might be a good idea to swing quicker into a right side bend. So we don't want to do this now. You can see the influences how left side bend at the end of the backswing, staying long in it, creates a better path maybe for an iron shot. And if you want to get mastery in driver, maybe it's a good thing to bend quicker in the right side bend, hitting high draws. So that concludes our today's excursion on left side bend and right side bend. At setup, once again, the shorter the club is, right shoulder more elevated, trail shoulder more elevated, and the longer the club gets, right shoulder more and more down. At the end of the backswing, you want to have about as much left bend as you have forward bend at setup. Last but not least, in transition, we try to maintain longer left bend into our shot to steepen our swing, to steepen our shots. And for the driver, we want to maybe make sure that we get maybe a little bit quicker into right side bend in transition, delivering the club more from the inside and swinging more out and right. Now we're going to look at all of this outside. We're going to hit a couple of shots and connect all of it to downhill and uphill shots as well, including chipping.
Widening the stance for longer clubs makes you go more and more into side bend. Here's a stock short game shot with little to no side bend. Now I'm using the same club, the sand wedge, in a full swing, and you've seen I've got a little bit more side bend at setup now. If I'm chipping with a 7-iron, I take some of the side bend off again and have my right shoulder higher again. I'm also keeping the trail shoulder elevated if I want to hit a punch shot and hit it low with a 7-iron. And if I have a lot of side bend at setup, I can hit the 7-iron very high. High 7-iron setups are very similar to the driver. Also here, if I must hit the driver low into a headwind, I keep the right shoulder higher. And now at this downslope chip shot, it's especially important to put the right shoulder higher. The same laws apply for a full swing 7-iron